If you're thinking about renovating your house, this is normally where it starts. Right here, sitting in front of YouTube, looking for ideas. Well, we have done a whole bunch of research for you so that you don't have to. So here are the conversions that we think is gonna get you the best return on your investment. My name's Matt, welcome to the Fern channel. Let's dive into it. First off, let's start with loft conversions. Loft conversions is something we get asked a lot about. It's a great way of using the structure so you don't have to build too much of a new one. And it can take something like a 3-bedroom house, turn it into a 4-bedroom. Now, adding that 4th bedroom adds loads of value. Simple. If you go on to Rightmove or Zoopla or your chosen real estate software, search the price difference between a 3 and a 4. They're going to be significantly different. It's also worth mentioning that not all houses are able to have a loft conversion. We've got another video on permitted development that goes into what you can do under PD in order to make sure that your loft is actually able to be converted in the first place. One thing to check is you want your ridge height. The ridge height has to be 2.6 at 2.7 at a minimum from the top of the existing ceiling rafters to the bottom of the ridge beam. Make sure you check that measurement first. But loft conversion, we would expect to see 20 to 30% return on what your investment into your loft conversion is. Now obviously that means it has to be done well and it has to be done in keeping. If we've got a bedroom and it's the master bedroom, what I mean by in keeping is let's make sure we've got an ensuite. People are going to want to pay for a master bedroom that has an ensuite. If you are taking your house and you're not adding a dormer out the back of it, that's going to have an impact. It's going to cost you less, but it's going to value less as well. So have a think about that balance between what you're doing when you do your loft conversion. Disclaimer, everything always happens over time. So time is the important factor here. When your grandparents bought their house for 20 bucks, and we always look back at them and go, oh, you guys were so lucky you bought your whole house for 20 pounds. Our great-grandchildren are probably gonna say the same thing about us, where they're having to pay £1 million for something that we paid 150 for. So bear that in mind when we're talking about this. Over time, most things come back. Moving on from there, we go from adding bedrooms to adding space. Usable space, extensions mainly. A lot of the other work we do is around like rear extensions. They're great because they can be done under PD and you can get loads of natural light in using lanterns and roof lights. It also really opens up the space to an open plan kitchen diner. Now that is really popular. Houses sell better for more money if there's open plan living. We tend to see 10 to 18% on your extensions. They're more expensive than doing a loft conversion because you're building more space, you're not using the existing fabric of the house. But we tend to see about 10 to 15%. Plus, if you're gonna live in that house for 10 years before you sell it, you're gonna have 10 years of open plan living. It will completely transform the way your family functions inside the house. Don't underestimate the value that it is to you guys before you go and do it. One thing to note is that all of your stuff needs to be done well. You can't just build a box out, cut costs here, there, and everywhere, and then expect the outcome to be completely different to what the inputs that's gone in. It has to be designed well. The devil's in the detail. If you want to have a look about 5 mistakes that we've outlined, go and have a look up here. We've got another video on what that all looks like, especially the planning part. Planning part's really important. Since COVID, there's been a big push for trying to find space in your house to find some quiet place where you can actually get some work done. Garage conversions are the most popular way that we've experienced as far as taking an existing space. Look, garages are too small for cars these days. Cars are too big, garages are too small. Doing a garage conversion is a really easy way of maximizing some more floor area in your home, maybe creating that quiet place or music studio, office or gym The value adder is not quite as strong because it just doesn't add the same impact as what an extension would, and you don't get an extra bedroom like a loft conversion would. We tend to see 8 to 12% on your garage conversions, but the cost of doing a garage conversion is significantly lower. We'd expect conversions these days, depending on the spec and the size, to be somewhere between 15 to 18,000, and you can climb all the way up into the late 30s if you want to. They are great for creating a cost-effective, more floor area and being able to segregate yourself based on the design. Now again, if you go back into permitted development video, it will show you some detail about what you can and can't do using the existing space. Planning changes things. We want to use the transport network that we've got, which is permitted development. We want to use that as much as possible to prevent unwanted admin fees or architect fees that we don't necessarily need. Following on from the whole home office post-COVID theme, like lower end garden offices or little summer houses, or kit form glorified sheds that we plonk in the back of our gardens in order to create office space. We're not seeing the same type of value added to the property using these as what you would with any of the others. The cost difference between it, like a garage conversion and one of these kit set home office in the back garden type scenarios, yes, again, it's at the lower end of the spectrum, but again, we're not seeing the value add to the end of the property once it's in there. The difference between being internally accessed and having to go outside seems to be a big downside to them. Having to actually walk out of the house to go and to go to work isn't as appealing to a lot of people. So bear that in mind before you go and spend 6, 7, 9, 10,000 pounds on one of these kit home offices. Now, obviously there's various different levels. You can spend a lot of money on one of these exterior buildings. We'd look at other options to do with your house first before you go and buy one of those. Other things to mention, increasing the thermal efficiency of your house is going to be a big one. Again, it's probably not quite there. Things like retrofitting or passive house type systems are really expensive, but you do get a lot of benefit from them. Solar panels, we're seeing the commercial expectancy on them sort of payback's gone from about 10, 12 years to some of the panel technology these days, we're getting 5 to 7 years. Again, externally rendered, what the house looks like from the outside, new roofs, general maintenance, better sealed windows in old properties are all making a difference, but your return on investment is diminishing as you get down towards these finer details, as opposed to your big chunky, here's a body of work and we're adding a bedroom. One thing to note is that not all areas are created equal. There are various parts of the UK, because that's where we are, and look, you can take this and put it anywhere in the world. There's going to be areas where the amount that you put in is not going to be worth as much because of the area you're in. One thing, focus on, do it once, do it right. If you're cutting corners or reducing spec to a point where you're not comfortable with it, if it doesn't feel right, it probably isn't. However, that being said, good quality stuff done by competent tradespeople can create a really smooth process which adds value at the end. One last thing to note, living in a building site sucks. For those of you that have done it before, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Don't underestimate the value of having it done faster. Having a bigger company do it to be able to throw more labor hours at it may be slightly more expensive, but I can promise you one thing, in the long run, having it done quicker, so you get to enjoy your new project quicker, that value cannot be underestimated. Anyway, rant over. Hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, like, subscribe. Thank you for watching. We'll see you on the next one.